Hi, welcome to Farm Talk Friday. It's January 18th, 2025. I'm Ken Jordan. This is my beautiful wife, Giovanna, who is an amazing tantric yoga instructor, and she's got an amazing nonprofit called Greenwave. Please check out Greenwave at greenwave.eco. All right, we were not with you last week because we were in San Jose, going to Carl Cox and John Digweed. It was a great event. It was
fun.
It was at the National Convention Center, this beautiful building in San Jose.
Super LEED.
Yeah, it's like LEED Platinum or something, which means it was built with very environmental building practices. And it was just great to see all the Techno Ticos showing up.
Yes.
All sizes, all ages, all sizes. It was a lot of fun. We're here in Costa Rica. We moved down here about 9 years ago from Los Angeles. I used to be in a band called the Crystal Method. And, you know, that could be a reason why I like techno. All right.
Yes, and we just want to say, because we have so many friends from LA, that our hearts are with you. And that was actually part of the reason why I just didn't want to do the show last week, is it was just too tough. And people are still on high alert. There's so many great guides that you can go to if you're in the LA area, whether you want to volunteer or you still need to evacuate. The LA 2050 guide is a great website, so la2050.com and laworks.org, I think. So anyways, check those out. You can just do a search. If you haven't done your evacuation plan yet, you need to, ready.gov. That's an easy thing to do. You just go on there, type it in. You can send it to yourself on email or to other people, so they know everything about you and where you're going.
Okay, so I didn't know we'd be featuring it in this week's show, but seems to be a green drink in the works back there. That's our Vitamix.
Yeah.
What's going on back there, honey?
Whoops. Well, hopefully Sherry would approve. I see that her or Dan or both of them are watching, and maybe they're still on their cleanse, but it's mostly celery leaves, a few beet leaves, parsley, mint, and a little bit of dandelion. Yeah, I think that's it. And then some lime. And I just haven't strained it yet and then put it away. So that's something that I'm doing after Farm Talk Friday.
All right.
So we did our intro. So the advertisement this week was a picture of our counter, actually. We have unfortunately, we have little tiny coconuts that maybe you shouldn't have been picked so soon, but sometimes we are gifted things from our workers, and it's like, okay, well, maybe we wouldn't have asked for them to be picked, but there they are. This is chan. It smells delicious, not necessarily the seeds that I'm holding, but the actual leaf of it, it's related to the mint family. And so the seeds, you can put them in water and it gets mucousy and it's good for your digestive system. You can also just eat them. I saw our worker do that. He was like, oh, chan. I didn't know. And then we had a big batch of Rosa de Jamaica. We harvested that, and so these are the seeds. We're going to save these, replant for next year.
Yeah.
This is kind of like one of our annual crops that we always redo.
Yeah, so after you harvest them, the seeds open up, or what did you call this thing? What do you call this part?
I don't.
Yeah, anyway, it opens up nicely and all the little dark seeds are inside, and one just dropped out.
That's okay. We've got lots. And then we actually got a whole bunch of cotton. I love having the cotton. So we have a little bag here. We'll add that to our collection. And so that is our ad. Do you want to talk about, you have a few updates. We have the girls.
Yeah, well, we did a little repair job on one of our chicken tractors. It wasn't moving around really well because a couple of metal pieces had fallen off. And so it made it really difficult to move, and that is the whole concept of the chicken tractor, is that it's a mobile chicken coop. You leave it in place for a while, and the chickens stomp around. They eat and stomp the grass and till the soil and poop all over the place and
fertilizer.
Yeah, so they improve the soil, and then you move the chicken tractor to the next place. So,
and it's good to move them for them too, because then they're getting more nutrition.
Yeah.
If you leave them in one spot, then they basically make a little desert out of it.
Yeah.
It looks like a desert, but with all the poop, they are improving. Hi, Phil.
All right. So also, yes, we have been driving electric vehicles for a long time. We've got solar here in Costa Rica. We had solar in LA, but sometimes it's a game when we go to San Jose and we're at a place where we can't charge. But normally we just charge at home. It's never a problem.
I wanted to talk about specifically our return journey last night.
Yeah, our return journey. So we didn't charge in San Jose, and we could have made it home just fine.
That was a whoops, by the way. We kind of we're out of practice or something.
So anyway, we barely made it home. So the problem was we kept getting to chargers that weren't working. So
that's what I wanted Ken to address.
And there's a national utility company here called ICE, ICE, and we have to.
But what happened at the first place? So the first place we went to, we call it the Mermaids, but it's in Caldera. And if you go in there, for all of our people here that watch us, it has it's the lagoon. It has a bunch of art in there, and there's a charging system there. And does the other charger work, or is it just the whole thing doesn't work?
No.
And then does PlugShare know about that, or there's two apps that Ken uses?
I should have looked at the reviews, and everyone was saying it hadn't been working for quite a while. So it hasn't worked the last several times.
Okay, so that was another whoops on our part, apparently.
Yeah. So
then what happened when we got to the next place that we were hoping to charge, and we did charge there. Yeah. But the handle was broken.
Oh yeah, the handle was...
And so Ken had to get, we carry around with us this, I don't think the company exists anymore, but it was called Eco Superhero. And it was, like a little pack of a fork, a spoon, a knife made out of bamboo. And so Ken's like, I need something to stick in it. And so he
so basically there's a little thumb release on this giant connector, and that thing had been broken off completely. So there was no way to, even though we had just put in the credit card for the charger, we couldn't get the connector off of the machine to plug it into our car. And so I used this little chopstick to somehow, I was picking the lock, finally got it into the car. We charged for a little bit, everything was fine. And then, we had to take it out of the car.
And it was the same thing.
Stuck again. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. So the woes. But what do we have to do now? We have to go on. There's that app is not ICE. So how do we say anything to those people?
I don't know. We just need to do a lot of reporting. As an EV car owner, we have to.
For the EV community.
Yeah, for the EV community, we've got to let the people know who are in charge of maintaining those chargers. Yeah,
let the people know. Okay. Anyway.
All right.
And then I thought you could just talk about the bananas.
So many bananas.
So many bananas.
The bananas are killing it. It's a lifelong dream of mine to never buy bananas, and we don't have to.
Yeah, we're doing good. So that took a few years to figure out what that balance is, and now we're good. I mean, if we have more than we can take, then we can share, which is part of the permaculture way. But it's pretty exciting to at least have a steady supply for us. So, okay, so my updates. I just had some stories. Ants this week. We've been dealing a lot with the leaf cutters. We have these giant freeways of them running across different parts of the property, and I was trimming like a line of ginger the other day, and I kept forgetting that they were right there, and so I kept stepping into their pathway. And so I was wearing shoes, and they would come onto the shoe, and finally one would bite me, and I'm like, oh no, that means my entire foot is covered in the leafcutter ants. I'd have to back up and, you know, take my foot out, shake it out, but they really latch on, especially to fabric. And then I'd have to go and try to gently pick them off my shoe and pick them out of my shoe, because then they get in there, and they are big, so it is easier to kind of like use your fingers and get them off. But so that happened. So be mindful if you are working around leafcutter ants. I mean, it doesn't, I don't know what hurts worse, you know, between all the ants. I'm not really sure. Like, they all have like their own individual bites, and none of them feel good. I don't know what the worst is. I don't really think I want to know what the bullet ants. That is the rumor, is the bullet ants. We don't really have them here.
We have them in Costa Rica, but not right where we live.
Not right here. Although there is this weird bumblebee-looking ant that we see sometimes, and those are also kind of solitary, and those just look like they would hurt. I've never, and hopefully won't get stung by that. Anyways, another exciting update is we finally, after all these years, have extra tires, and then we can wrap our hoses around them. And it just makes me so happy to have that organization instead of like a sloppy looking hose everywhere, because we have, you know, we have not quite as much property as our Led Zeppelin friend, but that's a whole another inside joke story that we could tell on some other Farm Talk Friday. But anyways, we have enough. We need water in different parts, and so we have tires now all around the hoses, so that's great. And I wanted to give you guys a tip for those of you that are working on the land anywhere. I think this applies anywhere. If you are cutting things above you, close your mouth. Close your mouth. It wasn't terrible, but you know, I understand like why we have, like we might wear protection on our eyes. That's happened to me before, but this week it was more about like getting trimmings into my mouth. I'm like, I was like looking up. Yeah.
If you're doing anything with branches ahead, I mean, it just rains down on you. I don't even know what it is, you know?
Yeah. Just close your mouth. And wear protective stuff. I was wearing a hat. I always wear a hat, so that probably helped my eyes, but it did not prevent things from getting into my mouth. I learned very quickly, though. And then this week, even though I was wearing a hat, I don't know if we can see it. Do we see this little dot, you guys? I was given a bindi from, I don't know, some plant that had been trimmed in the past, and one of the cut branches, you know, it wasn't like crazy sharp, but it was still sharp enough where I bonked my head on it, and I accidentally just scratched it again, so it kind of started to bleed all over again right before the show. Yay. And then in other news, it's, you know, full moon was just around, and that's a good time to weed, because all the energy has come up to the surface, and so after the full moon, then the energy starts to go down again, so it's rooting down, but like around full moon, everything has come up, so it's a good time to weed. So I weeded one of our gardens, and then that brought up this, like, I've been fascinated by the 13 moon calendar system. It's like a more of an indigenous wisdom tradition, you know, shared by, you know, indigenous cultures all over the world, is, you know, operating off of a 13 moon system. And you know, they have names for things, and the reason why they would have a name for different moons is to help them remember what might be in bloom or what you should harvest. And so I was thinking that this past moon would be some sort of like Jamaica, Rosa Jamaica Chan moon. So I've been creating like a little list, trying to track it, and you know, because we need local magic. We need to understand our local areas. So I'm not saying that this would apply for all of Costa Rica, and certainly not for any other place, but just in our local area, it might be good to track the moons and see, you know, if we can create a system, and then it just reminds us, you know, like the previous moon did that, I noticed that our black peppercorn was just crazy, and I still haven't harvested it yet, but that's when I first noticed it, was like the previous moon. So anyway, one day I will have a calendar of Costa Rican moons for all of us.
All right.
And I think that's it.
Thanks for joining us on Farm Talk Friday. We will be back. Oh yeah, by the way, this was Farm Talk Friday on a Saturday.
Oh yeah, it's Saturday. We
will be back next Friday for Farm
next
Talk
Friday.
Friday.
Thanks for joining on Saturday.